quick they came and heard that.
It's been great
They were
being here.
waiting
Goodbye.
backstage. They were waiting for this moment backstage.
I was so serious. Look how cool I was.
I love your smiles.
Wait,
Savage in that booth.
props to the production department, just like pulling that one up on the fly. They were prepared.
Okay. Well, that being said, it was a great time. It was a great learning experience. But we did touring. We spent hours in dance rehearsal. We recorded. I was going to high school at the same time, so I'd be going to class until like 3 p.m. and then I would go record and rehearse until like 1 a.m. and then go to high school again in the morning. And when Glee came up, like any other random audition, I thought it was hilarious and like super, the teacher blackmailing a student because he had weed. I'm like, I'm in. And I had never really done that much acting. I did like some guest things and...
The Office?
Yes, I was in The Office. And I went and auditioned. I sort of bombed the audition, and casting director was like, when you come back tomorrow, have another song prepared. I'm like, I'm coming back? Okay. And it was also, just real quick, I don't know where you guys auditioned for this, but it was one of those places where you can hear everything that's going on in the audition room. It's a nightmare scenario. So I knew when I went in there, I was like, they're gonna hear me trying to act and then also not know the words to I'm Sorry Liverpool to Let It Be by the Beatles. I only learned the first verse and he's like, keep going. I'm like, I don't know any more words. And, but I then went to the second audition the next day and it was like 15 people. I went from auditioning one person to 15, like Ryan and Brad and Ian, all the people who made the show. And then the next day after that, they were like, we want you to test, but we haven't found anybody else yet. And so I had to wait 7 weeks before they had you and they had Leah. And they're like, we don't have any other Glee Club members, so you can't do anything for now. And I'm like, I've never tested for anything in my life. So cool, is that a good thing? What do I do? And I just sat around hoping I wouldn't forget how to play the part I made up in my head.
Did you test with Jenna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tested with Jenna, I tested with Chris. Chris Colfer and I rode up in the elevator together and he was reading Artie sides and I was like, bro, I was just nice to you and we're competing against each other. That sucks. And then he's like, oh no, it's for a different part they made up for me. I'm like, well, good for you, you got the part. You got it. And then I also, like when I tested for it, I tested against another kid who was in Spring Awakening with Leah and Jenna. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna get this because there's clearly a trend and they already have like all these incredible like Broadway actors in the show. But, well, you never know. And I was sitting there texting my sister and my manager like, it's been a good run. I got really far and I'm really proud of that. And then, yeah, I was like, I've never gotten this far on anything. I'll take it. But I got it and was just happy to have a job, And also originally, the show was supposed to just come on as like a mid-season replacement, meaning like we were gonna start airing in like maybe April and run for a couple episodes. So I thought, best case scenario, this show's maybe gonna do 5 or 6 episodes. And then we did the pilot, and the network saw the pilot and was like, we're gonna hold off and we're gonna air 1 episode after American Idol, and we're gonna pick it up for 13 episodes. And I was like, I can pay rent! I was like, are you kidding me? I had to borrow money from my brother and my manager to pay rent the money for the month that we shot the pilot. I was so broke. I couldn't even afford gas to drive in from where I lived to film. And so luckily, it got picked up. And we got to keep making it and make the best friends we've ever had over the next 7 years, so it's great.
And now